There is a part of us that time has not touched, a voice that still whispers beneath the layers of who we have become. It is the child we once were, curious, innocent, open, and unguarded. That child still lives within us, even if we've spent years pretending they don't. We call it the inner child, but in truth, it is the essence of who we are, the unfiltered core that felt deeply before the world taught us to suppress feeling. As we grow, life demands adaptation. We learn to be strong, to be quiet, to be acceptable. In doing so, we bury parts of ourselves to survive. Maybe it happened when someone told us our emotions were too much. Maybe it was the moment love felt conditional, when we realized that being ourselves wasn't always safe. So we created masks. We smiled when we wanted to cry. We stayed silent when we needed to speak. We learned to function, but forgot how to feel. And somewhere along the way, that inner child was left waiting, unseen, unheard, unhealed. The pain we carry in adulthood often begins there. The anxiety, the perfectionism, the fear of rejection, they are echoes of a child who learned that love could be lost. We grow older, but the emotional body remains the same age it was when the wound was made. Healing, then, is not about becoming someone new. It is about returning to what we abandoned. It is an act of remembrance. To heal the inner child is to pause long enough to listen to that quiet voice we've ignored for so long. It asks not for perfection or explanation, only presence. It doesn't need us to fix the past, only to stop running from it. When we dare to meet that forgotten part of ourselves with compassion instead of shame, something begins to shift. The walls soften. The ache eases. And, for the first time in years, we begin to feel like home again within our own skin. Healing the inner child is not about rewriting the past, but about learning to hold it with gentleness. It begins in small moments, when you stop dismissing your pain, when you let yourself cry without guilt, when you speak kindly to the parts of you that still tremble. Each act of compassion becomes a bridge between who you are now and who you once were. The child within you doesn't need grand gestures, they only need to be seen. When you sit with their fear instead of silencing it, you teach yourself that safety can exist inside you. Slowly, the walls you built to survive begin to fall. What once felt like weakness becomes strength. And through this quiet process, you realize that healing is not about forgetting what happened. It's about remembering that you deserved love all along. When you finally meet your inner child with open arms, something extraordinary happens, not loud or dramatic, but quietly transformative. You begin to feel whole again. The tension between who you were and who you had to become starts to dissolve. You no longer need to prove your worth because you recognize that you were never broken, only forgotten. Healing reveals that the love you were searching for was never outside. It was the love you withheld from yourself. This reunion doesn't erase the scars, but it changes how you carry them. The pain becomes softer, wiser, a reminder of what it took to survive. You start to see beauty in your own resilience, and as you embrace that younger self, their curiosity returns, their wonder breathes again. You remember how to feel joy without fear, how to rest without guilt, how to exist without performing. To heal the inner child is to return home, not to a place, but to a feeling. A state of being where you are enough simply because you exist. The journey is not about fixing what's broken, but about holding what was left behind and whispering, "You're safe now. You can rest." And in that silence, something sacred unfolds, the forgotten self, finally seen, finally free.